Hello, hello, good people, good people. Tonight's Bible study will be from the Genesis chapter 42. Jacob said there was corn in Egypt, and he told his son to go up into Egypt to buy corn, for there was a famine in the land. And that's what I want to talk about right there. A famine in the land. We all know who Jacob was, and he was blessed by God. For the works of his hands, everything he touched was blessed. You could be blessed just from being around him. So this is what I want to talk about tonight. There was none richer than Jacob for that time, for he had amassed great wealth through the Lord blessing him. And that's what I want to talk about right now. It doesn't matter about your riches or how much you have in a famine. For all of your gold and all of your silver, it's just a drop in the bucket when there's no food or no water. See, we have what we say, as long as you have it in abundance, it doesn't seem like food or water is the most important thing. But in a famine, when you're destitute of water and destitute of food, there's some things that your money won't buy. I had to go through this in my own life. And some things I was going through when the water runs dry. At my house, my water had got cut off. It was a break from the main. But I didn't understand at the time how valuable water was. It was at this time, for a matter of 2 weeks, that I understood how valuable water was. For in these 2 weeks, there was not anything that I wouldn't pay for water. Man said 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, whatever it was, I was willing to pay it just for water. And water serves for many purposes, not just for hydrating the body, but it's for the washing of the body, for the flushing of the stool. Your whole house can get contaminated. So I went through this, and it brought me to my senses. And then the Lord brought me to Jacob. For at the time, Jacob was in a famine. And he sent his children and sons to go to Egypt to buy grain, buy corn, and bring it back so they wouldn't starve to death. was just wondering about what is money when you're in a famine. That's why the Lord says, you cannot live off bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God. Some things money just can't buy. I didn't understand it then, but I understand it now. Then as I got to reading in Genesis, the Lord started revealing His true purpose and plan. The plan was to get Jacob and his family out of Canaan. For if it wasn't for a famine, Jacob would have stayed in Canaan. For he had great wealth. There was no need for him to go anywhere. For he had abundance. And he had became comfortable. There's a lot of us today that becomes comfortable. But the Lord had a plan all along. For Joseph was ruler over Egypt. He was the brother that was sold into slavery. But he was sold into slavery before the famine. When he was sold into slavery, he had the best of the best. He had a coat that his father had gave him of many colors. Priestly robes. Joseph was sold into slavery, for God had already had a plan for Jacob. Even though at that time Jacob didn't know about the plan, but it was God's plan all along. A lot of times we like to say he had a ram in the bush. For Joseph was the ram in the bush. He was the son that Jacob loved. He was the son that had went missing, who was gone from his father. Now Joseph had a dream. And the Lord interpreted the dream for him. For there was to be 7 years of plenty and 7 years of famine. And it's in this time that Jacob sent his sons to Egypt in a time of a famine. But what God did with Joseph, it was already in his plan to get Jacob and the 12 out of Canaan. Not only to get him out of Canaan, but to get him to the promise. So he had to take them through famine. I've never heard this preached anywhere else, but it was revealed unto me. And God used the famine to get Jacob out of Canaan and get them in to Egypt. And then it's a whole nother story on how he got the children of Israel into the promised land. But that's a whole nother story. All right, y'all, I'm on my way in to work. That's what I got for y'all today. I give it just how the Lord gave it to me. It might help somebody out. I don't know. It's working mighty miracles in me. Peace out.